Hey guys, what's up? I really thought my ring light was gonna be here by now. I ordered a ring light on Amazon about 2 days ago, so I thought that it would be in by now. After the lighting fiasco in my last video, I realized like, oh, I really just need to bite the bullet and get a ring light like every other YouTuber. So I ordered one. I hope it's good quality though, because it wasn't that expensive and I was expecting it to be really expensive and it wasn't. So this will be my second set of lights that's like, that are not good if it doesn't come in good. So let's just like all hope that it's good. But the lighting's not too awful. I'm just chilling in my living room right now. I finally got Sky out of bed and I'm just doing a little bit of laundry, folding, and I wanted to do my pregnancy update because I haven't updated since I was 29 weeks. And so I'm 34 weeks pregnant right now. So I have everything covered from 30 weeks to 34 weeks. I'm almost 8 months pregnant, which is insane. I don't know where the time went, but I have written everything down. I've been just keeping track of everything that's been going on in the past month or so, and I'm ready to share all of that with you guys. I am gonna be doing weekly, or I'm going to try my very hardest to do weekly pregnancy updates for the remainder of my pregnancy, because now that we're getting down to the final 6 weeks, I think that it's really important to document everything that goes on and all the symptoms that I have in the weeks leading up to labor, because this is the time that women really start to pay attention to their symptoms, because I'm getting closer and closer to being full term, and these symptoms are, every symptom it seems like is something that you think like, oh, does this mean that I'm getting closer to labor? And so I think that these final weeks are important to document. So starting at the beginning of the 3rd trimester is when I started getting very hormonal and emotional again. The 2nd trimester was amazing. It was like a breeze. I felt like I wasn't even pregnant in the 2nd trimester, but I guess if I go back and like watch my videos, I'm sure that it didn't seem that way, but the 2nd trimester was wonderful this pregnancy. But at the beginning of my 3rd trimester in this pregnancy, I started to feel very hormonal and emotional, and like every emotion, like every, I should probably turn the TV off so there's not like a million lights on my face. Please hold. I started to just feel all of the emotions on the spectrum, and I knew that that was gonna happen because in one of my pregnancy apps, it pretty much said like, buckle your seatbelt because the hormones are about to rage again. I also started to get tired again in the beginning of the 3rd trimester, and my rib cage started feeling sore. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's all the way around. My rib cage just feels sore sometimes, and especially like anytime I'm wearing a bra, like it just hurts. It does not feel the same for some reason. It's just more sensitive than when I'm not pregnant. I also noticed as early as 30 weeks that Adeline was starting to drop lower, and I took a picture today. I shared it on social media showing how low it seems that she has actually dropped. Whenever my core is engaged, she doesn't look like she's dropped at all. But if I release my muscles, she's really like dropped down low. And last time this happened at around 32 weeks. I've been keeping track of my weight, you guys know that. And at 30 weeks pregnant, I weighed 154.3, and I am 5'4". So that was, I had actually lost half a pound from the previous week, from 29 weeks, which had put me at 30 weeks pregnant, a total of 19.3 pounds gained. And now we move on to 31 weeks. I had my gestational diabetes test and it came back negative, thank God. I thought that it would, but you know, you never know. It's always kind of nerve-wracking waiting for your test results to come back. And at 31 weeks, I was measuring 1 week behind for my fundal height when they did the measurement of my belly, but she said that it's really no big deal. I think she said that it was like a plus or minus of 2 weeks means nothing when they do the fundal height measurements. If I remember correctly, I think the number she gave me was, it could be like a 2-week discrepancy. This is also when I started having tons and tons of movement, actually a lot more than I had with Skyla. I also started to have pain in my lower abdomen. It started getting really sore, and I guess that's just like the round ligament type pain. My belly just started feeling really sore at this point at 31 weeks. So Even at 31 weeks, I still did not have the linea nigra, and in my pregnancy with Skyla, I did have it by this point. I think I even had it earlier, but I still barely have anything, and you guys will see that when I do my bump shot. I mean, it's almost non-existent, and honestly, I feel like the line, the little bit of line that I do have is left over from my pregnancy with Skyla. I don't feel like this is a new line, and I just think that that's wild. Like, why was it so dark with Skyla? Because it was extremely noticeable with her, and I still had my line. Postpartum at around, when I went on my cruise at 8 months postpartum, I still had the line, and this time, not at all. My feet started swelling and my ankles around this time as well, but I had told you guys that I was having a lot of painful swelling like down there in my lady areas, and I had talked to the doctor actually twice about this because I was so concerned. I did not have the swelling down there in my last pregnancy, and it wasn't painful. It didn't bother me at all, but she told me that it's veins. It's actually swollen veins. And I don't know if I said this in my last pregnancy update, but it's the veins are swollen, causing pain, and it was very painful in the second trimester, which is weird because what I was about to tell you is that now in the third trimester, it doesn't hurt anymore. It's still swollen and there's still veins, and they're actually visible, which is creepy, but it doesn't hurt the same as it was in the second trimester. I don't know if it's because she's moved, but she is head down now. They told me that at my last appointment, but she's head down, and I don't know exactly why. Maybe she was sitting on a nerve or sitting on a spot that was making it really painful, but I'm so happy to report that I do not have the pain that I was having, because it was excruciating. It was really bad. At 31 weeks, I started to get the prenatal blues, and if you're not familiar with the prenatal blues, it's something that some women get in the very end of their pregnancy, and it can be about any number of things, but I think that it's all just because of hormones. And I don't remember what was going on at the time when I wrote down that I had the prenatal blues, but I do remember there was a day that I was actually vlogging that day, and for no apparent reason, I just wanted to cry. And so if you get to the third trimester and you have a little bit of that feeling of like, it's kind of like a mild, maybe a mild depression. It's a lot of women have it. My friend Courtney, who just gave birth, I remember when she was going through the prenatal blues because I was reading her post on Instagram, and she was sharing that with her followers, and I had forgotten about it. But then when it hit me, I was like, oh yeah, Courtney had just posted something about this, so I know that it's just part of the third trimester for some women. My belly button started to get sore, and a lot of you guys know in my last pregnancy with Skyla, my belly button got so irritated and red, and it stretched out a lot because I had it pierced. And it's starting to get sore again and hurt again. It's not so bad today, but some days it's worse than others. But my belly is not near as big as it was with Skyla, so I don't have as much stretching, or you know what, it could probably just already be stretched out. So it's definitely not anywhere near as bad as it was with Skyla. At 31 weeks is also when I got the cold that I have right now, and it's been like a 2-week cold. So for pregnant women, when you get a cold, it can last 2 weeks because your immune system is so crap during pregnancy. And I'm still getting over it. I mean, I'm still sniffling. It's just like getting sick during pregnancy is the worst. Your immune system is just crap. So I'm hoping that this will be that would be my last sickness until, you know, hopefully until Adeline is like old enough to where if she catches something from me, she doesn't get super sick, because I was lucky with Skyla in the beginning. When she was a newborn, she didn't get sick at all. She didn't start getting her ear problems and her other like little toddler sicknesses until way later. So I really hope we have the same luck with Adeline. So I'm gonna go back in my notes to what I weighed at 31 weeks this time with Adeline. With Skyla at 31 weeks, I weighed 170 pounds. And this time at 31 weeks, I weighed 154.7. And I had gained half a pound, or 0.4 pounds gained. And so that had put me at a total of 19.7 pounds total weight gain for the whole pregnancy at 31 weeks. So now we move on to 32 weeks. This is when the Braxton Hicks started getting like real. Especially when I would sit down or stand up. It's almost like every time I sit down or stand up or bend over or squat, I have Braxton Hicks. And now at 34 weeks, they're like all the time. I'm having Braxton Hicks all throughout the day. It's pretty, like they're getting pretty intense. We had our 3D ultrasound at 32 weeks and it was really fun. My stepsister was in town, she came with us. We videoed it, it's actually in a vlog. The whole thing is in a vlog, so you can see that if you want to, I'll link it. But it was awesome, it was really cool seeing Adeline. I'm convinced that she's going to have more of my side genetics, at least I hope, because Skyla was so totally Nick when she was born. She was measuring 5 pounds and 3 ounces and 2 weeks ahead. I had a major growth spurt at 32 weeks, or Adeline had a major growth spurt at 32 weeks, because in between 31 and 32 weeks, I had gained 1.9 pounds, so pretty much 2 pounds, and I was in my head thinking like, that's a lot for 1 week, because most of the time it's been a lot less. And so I was, you know, thought it was interesting and funny that I had put on that much weight in 1 week. And then when I found out that she was measuring 2 weeks ahead at the OB's office when they did the fundal height measurements, and then when they checked the weight on the ultrasound, that she was already 5 pounds 3 ounces and 2 weeks ahead, I thought that was really I don't know, it was funny. She had a growth spurt and it showed on the scale, which was kind of cool when you think about it. Skyla wasn't measuring 5 pounds 3 ounces until, I want to say, I went back and watched my videos and I had like told Nick about it. I think it was when she was either 34 or 35 weeks. When, I don't know, I would have to go back and look, but it was actually quite a while later in the pregnancy with Skyla that she weighed the 5 pounds 3 ounces, or it might have been 5 pounds 6 ounces when they did my testing around 35 weeks to see, like, to predict the size that she would be at birth. And I know that it was not 32 weeks, it was later. So Adeline could possibly be a bigger baby than Skyla. For those of you who are new to my channel, Skyla weighed 8 pounds 4 ounces at birth. I started having cramps, like period cramps, at 32 weeks, and I had them also at 32, 33 weeks with Skyla, to the point where I thought I was in labor at one point, because they were coming in the middle of the night really steady at 5-minute intervals. And I didn't get that stressed out though this time when I got them, because I had already had them with Skyla at this time. So when I got them, I just was like, I didn't really think that much of them. I just figured it's my body just starting to prepare for labor, which it did with Skyla way early too. I have got visible veins all over my body, and Nick just always is making fun of me. Like, he was like, Aaryn, the veins in your hands are just insane. And he's right, my whole body is just covered in veins. It's hilarious. My stomach started getting really itchy at 32 weeks, so that's when it really started stretching. And what I've been using on my belly, I brought it in here to show you guys, is this Elasticity Oil, or it says Nectar Elasticity Oil, and it's from Noodle and Boo, which is a company that makes like baby lotion, shampoo, different baby products. They also make this Elasticity Oil, and I've been using it anytime that my belly itches, and it does make the itching go away. At 32 weeks pregnant, I was around 15 months postpartum, and that's when I started really noticing that my postpartum hairs were growing out, the ones that grow in right here, like the new growth all around. They were growing out enough that I could use like hairspray or headbands like this and bobby pins to keep them back, because there was such an awkward phase there where they were just sticking out and I couldn't keep them back. So I'm really not looking forward to going through that again. My swelling started to get better, like I had said. Even in my feet and hands, it kind of went down a little bit around 32 weeks. Also, when I was 32 weeks pregnant, I went to the Kona Grill with my friend Crystal, my stepsister Tanya, Skyla, and Crystal's 2 sons. And Skyla was just having one of those days. I think it's because of her ear pain that she's been having, but she was just throwing the most intense tantrum in Kona Grill. And it was really overwhelming me. And Tanya, my stepsister, had taken her out of the high chair to go like let her go look over at the fish for a minute to, you know, try to calm her down. And I had grabbed my water across the table to drink it, and it slipped out of my hand and went all over the table, and I started crying. It was one of those moments, like, moms know. I know that those of you out there who are moms, you know those moments. And people around were just like staring at me, and I felt so embarrassed. They were probably thinking like, this girl cannot keep it together. Like, wow, and she's pregnant. So it was actually a really embarrassing moment, but those hormones, hey, even if I didn't have hormones, I might have cried still. It was bad. So this past week, for 33 weeks, I have been getting more and more uncomfortable. My belly's been getting more and more sore. Sleeping is really hard. When I have to get up in the middle of the night to pee, it's actually painful to get up because my belly is just so uncomfortable and sore. My hands have started to swell, so my rings are getting harder to put on and off, and especially when we went on our weekly hike that we just recently started doing. So I shouldn't call it a weekly hike, but we've gone now 2 weekends in a row. Or we didn't go when my stepsister was here, but we've been going hiking, and my hands like were like ballooning up. It was not good. This is a total TMI one. So if you're not interested in TMI, or if you get grossed out easily, just like click the skip 10 seconds button or whatever to skip through this. But in the 3rd trimester, your discharge starts to get more and more and more. And it's actually extremely annoying, because unless you wear panty liners, you're constantly like actually have to change. For me, like that's the level that it's on, is like changing. Sometimes even you have to change like your freaking pants as well. So that is a less than desirable symptom of the 3rd trimester. I don't have any stretch marks right now. I am 34 weeks today, and I have not gotten stretch marks yet. With Skyla, at this point, I had them everywhere. Actually, not everywhere. I had them on my inner thighs, on my hips, on my boobs. Yeah, I think that's it. Inner thighs, hips, and boobs. But they were bright red and they were angry. And so I'm like super, super happy that I don't have them again yet. That's not to say that I won't get them, because I know a lot of people get them right at the very, very end. So let's just hope that I can make it through this one without more stretch marks. I also noticed that in this pregnancy, my nose and gums have not been bleeding. In my pregnancy with Skyla, my nose and gums were always bleeding, and that hasn't been the case with this pregnancy. My pregnancy brain is like really starting to pick up this week. I've noticed myself, I almost threw my phone in the trash. Like, I had a bunch of stuff in my hands, and instead of throwing away like the trash, I was like really close to throwing my phone away. Or I did something lately that was ridiculous. And so you guys are probably gonna start noticing that my pregnancy brain is really taking over. I am just not really all there right now. An update on my fitness, so like my workouts and my diet, I'm still keeping up with 3 days a week of weight training, and I aim for at least 3 days of cardio a week. This past week, I missed one of my cardio days. You know, sometimes, some weeks, especially with mom life, or any life for that matter, things come up and you might miss a day. But if I miss a day, I just make sure that I get up the next day and I just hit the gym even harder that day, or I at least get my 3 days of weights in a week, no matter what. And we're hoping to hike at least once a week, and that is brutal. Like, the hikes that we go on are like really intense. So it's just that sometimes it's easy, like the longer you've been on a fitness plan, the more opportunity there is for you to miss a workout or miss a healthy meal or fall off a little bit. But what's been keeping me successful is that the next day, no matter what kind of day I had the day before, I wake up and I set my mind to doing better each day and to just trying to stay on top of it. I would say the main struggle that I've had since I've been in the 3rd trimester with my nutrition is that I have a lot of nausea, especially in the mornings, and I don't know why that's not even written down here on my symptoms list, but I do have a lot of nausea, and so it's been limiting the type of foods that sound good for me to eat, and so some days I feel like I don't get a lot of calories. And I was eating for a long time like eggs on toast religiously every morning with avocado, and those two staple things, avocado and eggs, just for some reason I just have not been craving them. So lately I've been trying to kind of add them back in, but I've just been trying to work in different types of food into my macros that I got from my trainer Amber. So to end this, my symptoms, or I guess this isn't symptoms, but my weight at 33 weeks was, let's go back. My weight at 33 weeks pregnant was, oh, did I say it? So at 32, I weighed 156.6. I had gained the 1.9 pounds that I talked about, and that put me at 21.6 pounds total at 32 weeks pregnant, gained. At 33 weeks pregnant, I weighed 156.5, so I lost 0.1 pound, nothing, so basically just stayed the same. And then today when I weighed in, I weighed 156.4 pounds, and I had lost another 1.1 pounds. So I basically stayed the same these past 2 weeks as far as weight. And so right now I'm currently sitting at 21.4 pounds total gained. At 33 weeks with Skyla, I gained 176. So 176 versus 156. A 20-pound difference in my pregnancies is awesome, and I'm very, very proud of it. So I'm gonna show you guys my belly now. Oh, before I do, I wanna show you these maternity shorts because these are everything. I have them in black, gray, and this maroon color. These I got at Destination Maternity, and they are so comfortable. You can either roll this top part down or you can leave it up like this. And it has this like really pretty, it's like, I think it's just like satin trim. And I love this, like that it cuts up on the side, this little like V. I can't, there's so much fabric, I can't even like show you guys. You see how it goes up on the side like that? I think it's so flattering when shorts do that. When they cut up on the sides, it makes you look, oh, my battery died. It makes your legs look a lot better than like a straight across bottom when you're wearing shorts. So anytime that they cut up like that on the sides, like buy them. I'll try to find a link for these and put them in the description box. The size that I wear is a medium. And the brand of them is a Pea in the Pod, but I got them at Destination Maternity. So you can either get them at a Pea in the Pod or Destination Maternity, or you can get them at my link in the description. So I am gonna show you guys my belly now. Of course, I've got my Loved by Hannah and Eli Mama Bear tee on. Oh my gosh, I hope my neighbors aren't like looking in the window right now. They'll like think that I don't know what they'll think, but it won't be good. So my belly was really itching right down here and all around today. So when I put that oil on, but it might be red just because I was really scratching it. I know you're not supposed to, but my belly looks completely different this time versus what it looked like last time. I guess that's to be expected. But I wonder if I can come up close to show you that there's barely a line, barely. And I honestly think that that's just leftovers from Skyla, because I still had a line when I got pregnant, left over from her. So, okay, so this is when I have my abs like engaged, this is what it looks like. If I release my abs, it looks totally different. Isn't that funny? And a couple of you guys were wondering like if you can tell that I'm pregnant from the back in my pregnancy with Skyla. So in case you guys, anyone wanted to know what it looks like from the back, I don't know, you tell me. Can you tell that I'm pregnant from the back? Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, leave your comments below. Let me know your thoughts. If any of you guys are around the same weeks of pregnancy as me, let me know like if your symptoms are the same or if they're different. But I will see you guys on Monday. Bye.